Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. I've been really looking forward to recording this one. I've now known Janelle Lansdall for quite some time, and she is flowing well financial. Welcome, Janelle.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I remember meeting you for the first time and I couldn't even hold a makeup brush. I was like coming right at my face with it, like stabbing myself in the eye. My hand just like didn't know what to do. So you taught me to learn new things and I'm still doing that. So
Oh, that's amazing. And look how far you have come. I'm so proud of you. So we were having a quick catch up before we started recording here, you guys. And Janelle has been in the industry, the financial industry, working with people, helping people personally, professionally grow their money mindset for the last 8 years, but now full time for the last two. Like, how exciting! So exciting for you.
absolutely. It's been so busy. And honestly, like it's been a tough grind because that's a long time for someone in business to lose hope or give up or think it's not going to work. Or you hear from your family and friends and they maybe think that you should grab a 9 to 5 instead of doing a business. But I couldn't just like throw a bucket of water on that little fire inside me to help people learn about their finances and be so educated that you cannot get it wrong. It's pretty black and white, but we're people, and 80% of your money is
Mhm.
emotions and our psychology. So let's get to that 20% that's math, it's black and white. Let's get it done and then move on with life and go do the fun things, right?
Go do the fun things. I'm like, amen. I'm like, I feel like that's just what it's about. And I think that's like a true thing too. I think a lot of times it is emotion,
Hmm.
and a lot of people have a tendency to kind of complicate it instead of just trying to, change the mindset that
Totally.
it's just a simple tool that allows you to do the things that you want to do, whether it's business, whether it's personal, it doesn't matter. So those of you who are tuning in, we want to kind of have a well-rounded, easy peasy kindergarten level kind of approach just to kind of
Hmm.
where are you at, in the summer of 2024? And maybe here are some great tips from Janelle, to change that mindset. And yes, we have called this resurface from debt. So Janelle's got some quick tips to talk about, again, just how to make some easy changes and start to move maybe that needle forward and feel a little bit more comfortable, not always worrying and stressing about money and actually enjoying it and thriving with it. So Janelle, hit us with a couple
Absolutely.
nuggets.
Absolutely. So the first point to dive in on is like check in with yourself about why this is happening. The major point that is underlying for a lot of us is why are we not sitting down and dealing with this? Oftentimes, like when we talk about debt, what comes to mind for me is this is something that's kind of gotten out of hand for us, right? We are down a rabbit hole, we have gotten into debt and we don't really know how to crawl ourselves back up. So what got us there? Like what's the tendency? Let's look at our psychology. Like I
Mm-hmm.
said, that's huge to look at our psychology and how are we thinking about this? You need to have a real moment with yourself and address, is this fear that's causing perhaps some procrastination? I'm going to sound like the bad cop here, Trina, but I want to fix this for people. I
Yes.
want to fix this. And sometimes when we have to fix something, we need to be real with ourselves and say, I'm overwhelmed, so I'm procrastinating. I'm fearful, so I'm procrastinating. I'm confused and I don't know where to start, so I'm procrastinating. So, my first point is get into that real deep conversation with yourself, address why it's not happening. Why are you not addressing the debt? Or why did you not address, on the way down into the debt, you weren't able to save or you gave into temptation? It's so
Mm-hmm.
human. We love immediate gratification. We're built for it. It's in our genes, it's in our blood. Going into debt, to me, there's no shame wrapped around that because it is literally in us. That's the way we're built. We want immediate gratification. Humans are literally wired for satisfaction in all parts of our lives. So we want satisfaction. We want to be comfortable. We want to be okay. Humans will do anything to be comfortable,
Yes.
including overspending, right? It seems bizarre, but um, even just running your AC like crazy all the time through the summer, I don't know if people realize how much that costs. Now, call us crazy, but me and my husband, so we live in Saskatchewan, we're in the Southwest, and it's like fiery hot. This is like the devil's land down here. I swear to God.
Borderline like desert.
It's 38 here, and we don't run our AC hardly at all. This whole
I'm with
summer,
you.
we're
Oh,
August 1st, and we shut the whole house up early in the morning before it gets hot, like before 10 a.m. And we ride that until 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. And it's not the whole thing where, oh, no one's at home. I am at home. I work from home. I'm in an office here and I am fine. But you know what? Both of us are dialed in and we're okay being uncomfortable. We are getting we're getting comfortable with being uncomfortable
yes, I
because
can
it
agree to that.
saves us money.
Yeah.
It saves
I'm like,
us.
I'll turn it on just to help me sleep. That's about
Yep.
it. I'm with you with the AC because
Couple
I think about
hours at
that too.
night.
It's like
Mm-hmm.
even just doing laundry. You start
Yeah.
to kind of figure out different ways on like not necessarily like, scrounging all the time, but it's just having a different, a mental or not a health, like a healthy mental approach when it comes
Yes.
to what's racking up the bills, what's contributing to
Mm-hmm.
that. Do you need to get a cell phone like every 2 years? And all
Yeah.
the accessories that also the old
Yeah.
accessories, I always say the old accessories land up in landfill, like not even like
Yeah.
proper recycling. It's just, you're right. It's consumer mindset. We need, we want, I need to have it
Yeah.
like yesterday. And that's just
Yeah.
not healthy or approach. And I mean, we could probably get off topic and have a conversation that we're always comparing our lives probably with whoever
I was
else on
just
social
gonna
media,
say,
right? And I feel like
yeah,
that's probably where the debt probably starts.
yeah,
Oh, I need to have this, or why can't I have that vacation? And the reality is
yeah,
budget things accordingly. So I bet
yeah,
you probably have great tips, on how to structure it to be like, oh, you're planning a vacation, like, what's the short term, what's the long term goals, give us,
yeah.
I guess, some of the best nuggets in like a quick, like 2 minute that would
Mm-hmm.
help someone out just even today listening.
Okay, so again, like I sound like a broken record, old bad cop, but you need to have the money before you spend it. If you've recognized you've got a slight issue, whether it's coming from that comparison game, which is huge, we all want to look like we're doing okay in life. We want to put on that front to people
Yeah.
that we are wealthy, we are happening, we are doing it, we have the new shoes, we have a nice car, but I'm sorry, it is going to lead you down a path of just financial disaster, and it's going to be you that needs to crawl back out of that. So what do we do when we want to afford nice things? You can afford anything, but not everything. There's an amazing podcast by Paula Pant. I love it. It is in the States, but I love listening to it. That is her line. You can afford anything, but not everything. If you want to do that vacation, create yourself a sinking fund. Sinking fund is a super old term, but you basically build yourself a little piggy bank. And you know what? If it's a long-term goal, honestly, bring in some old-fashioned discipline if you can. You'll feel like a freaking hero by implementing these qualities into yourself. Again, money is 20% math, but it's 80% psychology. Build the psychology, build that discipline, saying, I don't need to go on a hot, big vacation every year. I'm going to go every 3 years so I can have a great vacation. And I'm not going to feel bad sitting on that lounge chair with a pina colada that was $12 because I'm sorry, it sucks, but it's a real fact that things have increased in cost for us.
Yes.
We need to be able to afford it
Earth.
before we spend it. Again, broken record, afford it before you spend it. A little bit at a time can help make it less overwhelming. Shooting $50 into a savings account is huge. I started doing that when I was 13 years old. I bought a house when I was 22 and it cost $450 in Calgary. Because I put away $50 when I was 13, I was cleaning toilets. That was my job. And I put away a little bit at a time because I wanted a house so bad. The other thing is I was focused on what I wanted. I didn't do vacations. I didn't do like abroad studies or like all these different things that can cost
Hmm.
extra money. I just wanted a house. So you may need to tailor down your goals. To me, that sharpens your focus. I wanted a house. I didn't want anything else that bad as much as I wanted a house, and I got my house. I did
I'm
it. And then I got
loving
another
this.
house
By the
and
time
then
you're
another house.
22, that's exciting.
22.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like a condo or an apartment. It was a freaking house with pretty peaks. It was blue with a dark blue door, and I freaking loved it. My monitor screen is a picture of flowers in front of my house. I
Oh, I
had money
love
left over
that.
to spend on flowers in front of my house. So, like happiness, it filled me up. It's such a
Yeah.
great start to life. Get a win like that, right? That's another tip is like build yourself up for a small win first. If you feel like
Mhm.
you have this internal talk to yourself that's, I'm bad with money, I suck at money, let's cut that out. Start getting yourself a small win. Maybe you can save up for something smaller. Maybe you can save up for the phone you want. Like you say, like, oh, the consumables, oh, they just drive me crazy when I see a client and they're just burning through the consumables. And then if they're burning through the consumables for them, hubby, and 3 kids, like, holy mother, that's a lot.
That's a
And
lot.
again, it doesn't change your life. What would change your life is maybe living in the place you want to live, maybe driving the car you want. It's all
Mhm.
personal, whatever you want, or having time freedom, maybe being a business owner instead of being a 9 to 5er who listens to a boss all day. What
Yeah.
is it for you, right?
What is it for you? And I feel like those are a lot of conversations I have too with clients and when I'm hosting master classes. So again, those of you
Mhm.
tuning in, Janelle's joining us with some master classes coming up in the year here. And we were just talking about that because I feel a lot of times as a society, it's dictated, to be like, this is how you should work. And then these are the things you should be doing. And meanwhile, are we feeling fulfilled? And is the work that
Right.
we're doing meaningful? And I feel like if you come from a place of being aligned, living with purpose and doing meaningful work, like you and I are blessed to have, then I feel like money is treated very differently. Our mindset is wrapped around it differently. Like, I don't know about you, I have a
Mhm.
tendency to be like, oh, I need to hang on to this just a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And even though the credit card company's like, no, we can like, we'll extend your credit limit. I'm like, that makes me nervous because I go to a place of like, remember when I was like in my 20s? I wasn't buying a house like Janelle. I racked up an Amex and I learned the hard way that I was like, oh wait,
Right.
money doesn't grow on trees. Got it.
Right. Right.
And so it is true. Sharpening your mindset. And I think having that
Mhm.
approach to understanding that money is a tool and it can definitely make you thrive. Now, we were having a
Mhm.
conversation before we started recording this. So, those of you who are entrepreneurs and require limbs, right? So,
Yes.
Janelle's got a
Yes.
couple great concepts because I talk about this too. You need to have a backup. If you are in a
Yeah.
business, in a profession where, it takes a person for you to touch to make money, right?
Yeah.
Like a makeup artist, I'll just throw that out there. Then you need to have something in place too to help your money generate money. So Janelle's got a couple great thoughts on how to invest that hardworking cash to get it to work for you.
Absolutely. So we have to think of future you, right? And that goes back to not overspending now to give now you the gratification. What does future you need? And with what you're saying, Trina, what does future you need to
Mm-hmm.
keep making money? Unfortunately, we got to think of the good things and the bad things. The bad thing is you've got 60, 45 years to work whenever you want to retire. Good thing, bad thing, however you want to put it, you have that many years to make an income. What happens if you can't make that income anymore with the job you are trained, passionate, and able to do? What happens if you're no longer able to do that job? We got to think of
Mm-hmm.
the time going back to school and re-educating yourself. For a lot of guys in the trades, a lot of clients of mine, they do not want to do anything else but manual labor or skilled trade work. They do not want to work in retail. They don't want to be an entrepreneur. They don't want to have any online work handed to them. They want to do work with their hands, work with their body. And it's funny to think, but you know what? Even if I had a problem with my limbs or hands, it would be a lot harder to do my job. I'm pretty blessed. I don't need a ton of my body to do my job. I definitely need my brain. But I actually have a colleague who she was in a truck roller accident, financial advisor on the road. She got a little too close to the ditch and her truck rolled really bad.
Oh,
She broke her entire like wrist and hand structure. It's definitely harder for her to do her job. So, do you have things in place to protect your income? Your biggest asset isn't your house. And it's not, a piece of land for a farmer or something. It's actually your
Mm-hmm.
ability to make an income. We have so many years to make an income. So please, like, disability, critical illness are huge. I've had 4 disability claims all through. I was paid. You got to know the difference between taxable and non-taxable disability. I would love to talk to someone about that, because your payment may not be what you're expecting it to be. And then last year, I was in the hospital over our first anniversary for over a week with a spleen that was about to explode. So random.
So
And this
random.
random illness. And you know what I was thinking about in my hospital bed? I was so happy my mom and dad bought a critical illness policy for me when I was 12, because that instance in the hospital changes my insurability. I would be excluded for anything to do with like internal. It was not like they didn't diagnose anything. So it's hard for me to say like what it was, because I'm like, I don't even know what it was. But it was like all these internal infections in me.
Oh
And
my
because of
goodness.
that, it's like a timestamp in your medical history. You cannot take that off your medical history. We're not in the business of lying to get insurance because
Yep.
it's not going to pay out. We're in the business of learning how insurance companies work and playing in their rules. We have to, otherwise you might not have an insurance policy, even though you've got the paper for it. You might not have a
Yeah.
payout. That stuff is so important to know. So, taking the time to sit down and talk to someone about it, learn about it, go through the nitty-gritty details, find a nerd like me. I freaking love the nitty-gritty details of insurance. Insurance is so cool. It was here in Canada before the tax laws. That's why it's cool, because there's some tax
Yeah.
advantages to insurance. So
Yeah. There's a lot of cool things that are available. And I think we only highlighted like maybe a third.
yeah, this is a quick
We could
handful.
probably spend like a whole day talking about stuff. But,
Yeah,
I think this is probably great. And we don't want to keep everyone too long because it's always just about sharing, things that are helpful, a little few tips. And I guess one final thought, Janelle, what's one final thought that somebody could, attempt to approach today?
but I see all the time with people, good, hardworking people making decent money. They just don't get it done. They just don't sit down to either start that investment that could be building the money as they're making money, or sit down to get the piece of insurance in place. I had a client diagnosed with MS 2 weeks ago. If we
Hmm.
didn't have stuff in place for him before, he would be so SOL right now, and so would his family. That's my biggest thing, is people don't stop in their life. We're so caught up in this hustle, this busyness,
Yes.
this to-do list, do all the things, even social stuff, like so many social things to go to. Stop and just slow down, get with your partner, or if you're by yourself, get in there and like
Get it
figure out your
done.
money stuff. Just do it.
Yeah,
And
get
then
it
forget
done.
about
Yeah.
it and go on. Like, go on, but get it
Yeah.
done. Don't procrastinate. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Like, just get it done, focus on you first, and then,
Yeah,
yeah, enjoy life. But I'm like you, have a prevention, have something in place because you just never know. But I think this was a
totally.
great share. I appreciate you jumping on here today, Janelle. This was amazing. Thanks for your time, girl. And you'll be hearing from
Okay.
Janelle probably more and more because I just feel like you have a wealth of knowledge to share for us. And for those of
Yeah,
you
thank
tuning
you.
in, thanks for joining us. Continue to walk in faith, and we'll see you at the next episode. Thanks, Janelle.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
You bet, Kate. Bye.
Bye.